Hi there, come on in. Boy, do I have a perch fishing trip that you folks are absolutely going to love. We took 50 people along with us on the Captain Nichols party boat off South Haven this past weekend. Most of these people were successful in bidding in the PBS auctions around the state this past spring. They wanted a chance to come and fish with us with our TV cameras and see what a phenomenal fisherman I am. Boy, did they find out. That's the part you folks are going to love. You're also going to love this perch recipe we have. It is absolutely fantastic. And we have a really great smallmouth bass fishing sequence where I redeem myself. So come on along. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night. Time for Michigan Outdoors. The afternoon fishing boats cast off the dock at South Haven, carrying decks full of anglers who hope to catch as many perch as the boats brought in from the morning trip. The rotating drum on the docks is the fish scaler, full of perch that the morning anglers caught. South Haven in southern Lake Michigan is one of few Great Lakes ports that has party boats. I'm not talking about party boats. Those you'll find in any port. I'm talking about fishing party boats that carry 40 or 50 anglers at a time who want to catch perch.
Catch these fish is on the bottom. That merely means that when you put your sinkers on the end here, you're going to let this sinker go to the bottom, and you're going to play that area right there. Don't crank it up 3 or 4 turns because that's too high. Leave it right on the very bottom.
Ross is a regular on the Captain Nichols. He loves to help other customers load their buckets with perch. The underwater drop-offs on the graph show Donnie Nichols where the perch are likely to be. Donnie's the captain of this boat. His dad, Don Sr., is the captain of the sister boat. Together, they can take nearly 200 anglers a day to the prime perch fishing grounds. Now, we're marking fish?
Right. We come in here, we come in on the sand, pull up there, and I drop my anchor on the sand and then back up till we get on the rocks, and then these are all the perch right back in there. It drops from like 20 foot to 26 is what we're in now.
Okay, so this signifies rocks on the bottom, the bumpy.
You can tell by the heavy echo right there. The bumpiness and the heavy echo, and that's fish just all laying just off the bottom.
Those aren't, well, some of those are bumps there, but those fish look thick.
Yeah, they're thick. They're down there like cordwood. It's been like that all week.
And when you say like cordwood, when we came in this morning, or this afternoon getting ready to leave, they were cleaning fish by the bucket loads.
Mm-hmm. We had 3,000 fish on the dock this morning between both boats.
3,000?
Yeah, it's a good day.
I don't recall in past years that you've had that many days that are that good. Is it just getting better all the time?
It seems to be getting better over the years. Last year was pretty good. This year's even better now. Hopefully it just keeps on getting better.
Now, I've asked your dad in years past about the techniques of perch fishermen. You get a lot of people who come out here who are amateur fishermen, families, you know, and people who don't really have the fishing technique down pat. Have the fishermen gotten better? Or is it just that easy to catch them?
Well, both, I'd say. It's getting easier to catch them, and we're getting better fishermen. And
what's the bait lately?
Right now we're using minnows just to get them started, and then we go right over to cut bait. The mates will start cutting the perch up, and we use those for bait, and it works real good. Stays on the hooks, easy to use, and people like it. They don't have to chase the minnows around the buckets.
Well, now we've been doing this with you guys for 6, 7 years. Each year we come down and tape a trip. What are the differences between 6, 7 years ago and now?
It seems to run in a cycle. We get studies and stuff all the time from different researchers, and they just say there's more and more fish, more perch in the lake, and it's going to do nothing but get better, and so far that's what it's doing.
Years ago, I remember we used shrimp.
Yeah.
The baits we used. Sometimes you'd use wigglers. Do you still use those?
Use those when the water's cold, and in early June now it's hard to get wigglers, and the water's warmed up, so minnows and crabs, we're getting a few crabs now. We'll get into those more in August. But anything work. We caught 30 fish today on a bear hook just to break a record. So
that's just kidding. Now, was that one of the mates?
Yeah.
Who caught it?
Yep. And we had a lady on here today who brought 3 bags of mushrooms, and she got 75 fish on just using mushrooms.
You probably use corn or...
Oh, I've seen corn. I've seen watermelon, marshmallows, anything. They'll bite on anything when they're biting good. Yeah, it's a double.
The typical perch rig is always made with 2 drop hooks off the main line so you can hook 2 fish at once. But in Michigan, it's legal to fish as many as 4 hooks at once. Now, anglers commonly use 2 rods with 2 hooks on each, but I've never seen 3 or 4 hooks on a perch rig on 1 rod, even though it's legal. One of these days, somebody will try it when the fish are biting hot and heavy. And speaking of that, there's a school of perch that's drifted up towards the surface, only a few feet under the water. They evidently followed up other perch that were being caught. Usually the school stays within a few feet of the bottom, and that's a little over 20 feet down. The crew on the Captain Nichols boats all fish with the customers, trying to teach them how to do it. Even Donnie, our captain, takes time to pull in a few. Watching them haul in perch after perch proves there's definitely a knack to it, something I find a little hard to explain. Why is it? People have asked, how come the crew on this boat, no matter where they fish, anywhere around here, seem to pull them out of nowhere?
It takes a knack. There's a knack to it. You got to have the right attitude, and they've been doing it, and we send them around the boat just to do that, to show people that there's fish there. You know, a lot of people come out here and expect to set their rod down and catch them all day long, and it takes a little concentration and a knack. And once you get that, then they understand how they can do it all the time.
I mean, is it that the fish are hitting and people aren't feeling the hits? And
it can be that, or it's hard to say. Everybody's different,
but the crew keeps working around.
Yeah, we send them around the boat trying to catch a fish, and they're using the same bait and everything as everybody else. So we don't use nothing special or different.
But they do catch fish.
Yeah,
you can sure see them. Oh, there's a customer who's got one. Mm-hmm. One by one, and every now and then 2 by 2 perch were added to the catch. When both boats got back to the dock, we found we didn't do as well as the morning boats. They had caught 3,000. The 2 afternoon boats caught about 1,300. Donnie's wife, Emily, weighed the largest ones for the jackpot, while everybody else lined up their buckets at the fish cleaning station, where the crew scales the perch in rotating drums, cleans and fillets them for 10 cents each, so every angler can take home the perch they caught ready for the pan. That's a great deal if you ask me. But not every perch made it back to the dock. Tim Farragon, fishing next to me, was evidently into catch and release. A good sign. Did you do that? That's the second time you've done that. Well, perch fishing isn't really suited for catch and release. It's definitely catch and fillet, and what better place to do it than on a party boat? That's why we make it an annual trip. We're looking forward to next year already. Funny I didn't mention during that feature how many fish I caught. You didn't see me catch any? Well, very frankly, I only caught 1. 1 perch. Everybody else caught tons of them. I can't explain it. I tried. It's just one of those things. Those fish just weren't my fish. It wasn't my day. What the heck? I'm going to redeem myself later in the show, though, with smallmouth bass. You know, the big perch, the trophy perch, are oftentimes full of eggs. They're the big females that are caught in April and May. That's what we have coming up right now in our trophy book. 1 pound, 14 ounces, 13 3/4 inches. Dan Jacob from Holland pulled this from his local Pigeon River. Rick Bouvet from Appleton, Wisconsin with a 14.5-incher from Little Bay to Knock. And here's a 15-incher that Ron Miller from Falmouth caught in a pond in Wexford County. This 15-incher went 6 ounces over 2 pounds, a famous Lake Gogebic perch taken by Albert Harsek from Bancroft. John Froelich from Niles caught this 15.5-inch perch on Sugar Island in the UP. And now the 16-inchers. Hon Tai Pham from Traverse City with a monster from West Grand Traverse Bay. An award-winning taxidermist, Randy DeZormo from Sault Ste. Marie, puts a tape to his 16 3/4 inches, a real lunker from the St. Mary's River. Well, kids catch 15-inch perch too. Matt Morrison from Alpena caught his in Lake Huron. 6-year-old Holly Caldwell from Oscoda also caught hers in Lake Huron. And little Joseph Glenn from Traverse City took his trophy near home in West Grand Traverse Bay. Now, everybody takes kids perch fishing, but you know, they can handle big fish too. Hey, that's a great picture.
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you have to say about this fish?
Well, when I caught it, he jumped a few times before we got him down by the boat. And then when we got him up to the boat, he went under the boat. So my uncle grabbed a rod with me, and we both pulled him over, and then my uncle netted him.
Okay, so you got to hold the rod the whole time?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's great. That was quite a tussle. How long did it take?
No,
I mean, what's time to a kid, huh?
about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes? Well, way to go. Good story. Way to hang on to that big Chinook salmon. You don't always have to take a kid perch fishing. 9-year-old Ray Cederholm from Manistee with his 41-inch Chinook salmon shows that kids can also be our Michigan Outdoors Trophy Anglers of the Week. The Spaniel family is made up of more dog breeds than any other. Now, all Spaniels hunt the same way, except the Brittany. How does the Brittany differ? Most Spaniels locate game by scent, then rush in to flush it. Only the Brittany Spaniel holds on point. There's a salmon derby at Detour Village through Sunday this weekend. On Saturday, the Grand Traverse DU chapter is holding a sporting clay shoot at Buckley. Regular weekend handgun metallic silhouette shoots will be held at the Durand Sportsman's Association and at the Big Valley Tin Bangers in Newberry in preparation for the State Handgun Metallic Silhouette Championships that begin next Thursday the 9th at Oxford. The Lenawee County Conservation League in Adrian is holding a big game jamboree. 30 hand-painted silhouette targets are featured on the special archery course. An IBO qualifying round will be held at the Chippewa Bowhunters in Leslie on the 5th, and a 3D silhouette archery shoot will be held in Lapeer. If you want to get into muzzle loading, the Lansing Muzzle Loading Gun Club in Laingsburg is holding a clinic Sunday where you can shoot a variety of new muzzle loaders and get instruction from experts. Also on Sunday, there's a gun show in Davison. Saturday, September 22nd at Bath High School. Get your deer hunting questions answered when scent manufacturer Bob McGuire and I square off in a knockdown, drag-out seminar on scents and deer hunting. Learn about calling and rattling and see a deer butchering demonstration on Saturday. On Sunday, the seminars will be held at the Williams Gun Site in Davison. These promise to be the most informative, most interesting deer hunting seminars we've done. Because of the limited seating, pre-registration is required for both. I want to mention a couple things about a couple events in the calendar that shoot at the Lenawee County Conservation League. I mentioned the hand-painted targets. Here's Ted Vassar with one of the 30 hand-painted targets that he finished off. Look at these targets. It's going to be really sort of an art display in itself, just walking through that course, let alone shooting. So that's really, they bill that as a chance of a lifetime. That would be an interesting shoot to see. Also, our Scentomania workshop. Outdoors Club members can come to the Scentomania workshop for free. The registration fee, the purpose for charging this, now I can redeem myself at smallmouth bass fishing for the sort of pitiful performance I put in on the perch. The heat has been extraordinary. Nothing like this in 100 years. But low water and hot weather doesn't always mean the fishing is bad. A week and a half ago, we floated an isolated stretch of a well-known southern Michigan river with country musician Greg Cashnider and his dad, a couple of fellows who grew up on Michigan rivers. Before we left, we knew the river was going to be low and the temperature was headed for the 90s. I asked Greg if this wouldn't ruin our chances for a good day of fishing.
I don't think so. Your fish do group more, and they get in the pockets. You can read your pockets a lot better when the water's down. You get the stable weather like we've had, the fish are aggressive. They were aggressive today, and that's what you need to catch the fish that we caught. Yeah.
We did find, though, that they like the shadows.
Shadows. How many did we catch today?
About 75, 80 fish. We caught a lot of fish.
Yeah, they was grouped in the shadow pockets, and if you get a good pocket on the south bank where it would stay shaded all day, the temperature of the water will be 5 to 10 degrees cooler. Mm-hmm. Just same without getting the shade tree, it's cooler, and the fish getting the shade is cooler. And they group right in there.
A lot of these fish we caught were impersonators. They were impersonating trophy fish.
That's a smallmouth bass, though. Smallmouth bass they're thunder.
Yeah.
They are. You hook them and they're a pound fish will feel like a 4-pound fish until you see them. That's just the excitement of catching smallmouth.
And in the river here, you've got a good current too, and they use that to their advantage. They just can go sideways and just use the current, and really, it's a good fight. You have a lot of fun. Even a 9-inch bass will really pull. I mean, you can have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, those little ones. Some of them were, I don't know if it was disappointingly small because they put up such a good battle. So
That's all you go for is the fun of the fight of the fish, and a 9-inch fish will fight, or a 9-inch smallmouth will fight as much as a 10-12-inch largemouth or more. I mean, they put up a better scrap. They're solid.
scoot out of there. Well, I'm going to cast back again. That's 2 in a row. 2 casts in a row. Greg has one. There's a lot of bass in the river. So you've fished all around the country. You fished for years and years and years and years. And all you do is have a tackle box full of plastic.
Well, it's easier than going and buying worms, easier than minnows, and you catch more fish.
Well, whether lures catch more fish than live bait will long be argued, but in this heat, the trouble with bait is keeping it alive.
These little ones stay greener. The bigger ones get a little darker colored. Sure is fun catching these, ain't it?
Here we go. I got another
One more, all right.
Okay, I can't believe this whole shadow.
See, that there will stay shaded all day.
Oh, this is a good one. Or else I'd hooked him funny. I think I may have hooked him funny. Well, I don't know what. Yeah. Now that's the third one I pulled out of that same hole. Well, the reason this spot was so productive was it was a small patch of deeper water next to the bank, shaded by the trees. It was cooler. The bass were clustered there. We took a half-dozen scrappy smallmouths out of that same hole before we got back in the flat-bottom John boats and drifted downstream. You pull these boats. I mean, these are not expensive boats. These are not elaborate. You don't even have a motor on them, no depth finder. Instead of a motor, you have this pole. Mm-hmm. So why do you pull? Nobody else I've seen pulls a river.
It's quieter. You got with the hook on the end. You got more to your advantage. If you got to reach, say somebody gets their line up in a tree or whatever, you can reach and you can get it out. Or the hook. If you see a turtle, you can hook a turtle, throw him in the boat. It's just the pole is a lot quieter. You don't have the noise.
Yeah, when you're going into a rock or something, if you're paddling, there's no way to stop the boat and back it up. You know, it's hard to do this, but with a pole, you can just stop the boat and just slide right around the rock, and you can maneuver a lot better. It's a lot more maneuverable. I mean, you can maneuver a boat real easy with a pole.
Yeah, but you ride it backwards. You're sitting in the front to pull it.
Well, that's because the front of the boat is narrower and it's easy to pull on each side. It gives you a tapered side to run your pole down so you can go straight. If you want to go straight, you can just go straight. And you're not, and it lifts the front of the boat, or the back of the boat, but that's what you call the front of the boat when you're pulling the boat. But it lifts it up out of the water, so if there's just one person in the boat, you're only pushing just part of the boat, and you can go a lot faster and more maneuverable.
The wind won't bother you as much either. Yeah. That's a lot of things. If you're pulling into a wind, if you're like we're doing it, you're more stable in the front. Like with the tapered ends like this, the wind catches it and it's lighter. The wind will catch it and it'll throw you all over the place all the time. That's just the way we found that it's the best.
When you're river fishing, is it worthwhile to get up at the crack of dawn and be on the river at 6?
It sure is. It's very well worth it. Yep.
Well, now we didn't catch anything until 8.
The thing is,
we
you
was
never
fishing
know.
holes that people already had been through, and it was you fish close to bridges. Close to a bridge, you don't catch the fish. When you move away, we got away from the bridge about a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile, then we started catching fish, just about as every place you throw a lure. But right close to a bridge, you know, you got everybody fishing, and the fish are not right there. They're down through the middle of the stretch.
Well, now we caught some fish right by this bridge.
There's not too many people around this one, I don't think.
I don't think there's been anybody here
The
today.
road don't go across. It's dead end bridge, so.
So that's a trick. You got to find a river that's sort of an isolated stretch.
Right.
And probably, what's your experience tell you, that most any Michigan river that looks like this is going to hold fish of some type?
Oh yeah, sure.
This river here is noted for the best smallmouth bass river in Michigan. It's been that way for years. It's the best smallmouth bass river in Michigan.
Which river is this?
You tell us.
That's a little deal we made before we started. Yes, I promise not to reveal the exact stretch of this prominent southern Michigan river, and I won't. But sometime, if you spot someone poling over the shallows who looks like me, it could very well be. I had no idea river fishing for smallmouth bass in the heat of the summer could be so much fun, but thanks to Frank and Greg Kashnider, I'm going to join the River Rats, a fraternity of easygoing, fun-loving fishermen in Michigan outdoors. You know, I think the features on this show got kind of mixed up. We should have had the perch fishing be the catch and release, and the smallmouth bass fishing be the catch and fillet. I would have made out better myself that way. But fortunately, thanks to Ross on that party boat, we did get enough perch. I did in my bucket to bring back and have a fantastic recipe with Kathy Beitler.
Tom Boak sent us a recipe for Tom's fried perch. And this must be his own original recipe because it's got some different ingredients that I've never seen before. There's your fillets.
That's supposed to be Great Lakes perch.
It is supposed to be.
Oh, I remember. This is the recipe where we sent somebody to the store to get some perch, and they brought back
We didn't specify.
Ocean
That's right.
perch, which is not really perch, not lake perch at all. And another thing, fillets in the store do have bones in them.
They sure do. They
And
don't.
well, and it's on the front part of the fillet, not the tail section.
Right down the ribs.
Well, virtually every fish will have small, short little bones that come off of the rib bones. You might want to take those out. But
Yep.
generally, they're so short that you can chew them up and swallow them, and they're not going to
Yeah.
cause a problem. But they're just along that one section in the front. Now, what are you going to do with these perch, ocean perch fillets?
Gonna make an egg wash out of eggs, sour cream, salt, and pepper. And just want to make that.
Sour cream.
Yep, want to mix
salt and
it
pepper.
just very thoroughly. And then you want to dry these fillets off first, pat them on paper towel, and then put them in your flour so that the flour will stick better. And then we're going to go into the egg wash and then into just a breadcrumb mixture.
That's weird.
Yep, like I said,
Sour cream with
eggs, yep. Instead of milk, it's just a little bit thicker, and I think it sticks to the fillets just a little bit better.
Well, that's quite a breading.
And then just going to go ahead and fry them just until they're done on one side and then flip them. Then we're going to make a special sauce out of ketchup, mustard, and beer.
Ketchup, mustard, and
I think Tom,
beer.
this is his own recipe through and through.
I guess. Well, Trish Howland, our membership coordinator for the Outdoors Club, she puts everybody's name on the computer and checks on them. She is going to taste test this recipe for us.
It's good. Kath did a great job preparing it.
Now, this is not lake perch. Can you tell the difference? Have you eaten enough fish to?
No, I haven't eaten enough fish. What is the difference?
I don't know. What do you think, Kath?
I don't think you can tell the difference
don't?
between us and lake perch. If anything, it's a little bit milder.
Yeah, but look at the big flakes. See, it has big flakes,
More
unlike
like
the lake
walleye
perch.
than it is perch.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a fishier taste. Perch is just so pure and white. What about that sauce on it, Trish?
Excellent sauce.
That mustard sauce?
It is really good.
I think so too. In fact, I'll tell you what, I think you could make this recipe with any old dead fish and put this sauce on it.
Yeah, the sauce definitely does make this recipe. Gives it that little bit of zing.
What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10, Trish?
9.5.
Is that for the sauce?
Definitely the sauce.
This recipe, along with all of the July-August recipes, are in the July-August Outdoor Digest. Right to this address that you see on your screen. We'll send it to you. It has not been off the presses yet, however, it's at the printer. We're extremely proud of this issue because we have introduced a new thing. Here's a proof of the new color shots of the recipes. Each and every recipe is going to be in a color shot. Here's a composite proof of the different color separations, and these have come off of videotape. Brand new technology has allowed us to do this. Here's a composite proof right here. Look at that. The color is phenomenal. This has worked even better than we thought it would, but it's taken a lot of time to get this lined up. The content of the digest. We've had some really good fishing days around the state. In the Keweenaw, they've been getting walleye, lakers, and coho over in Muskogee Bay. A few walleye and loading up on smallmouth bass. Black Lake, walleye limits are being caught. Off Alpena, there seems to be the biggest concentration of king salmon that are being caught, 8 to 9 per trip. In other areas of the state, it's 2 to 3, up to 5 to 6 on the west side of the state. As far as fly fishermen go, terrestrials are still the big thing in the North Country. Olives, white-winged blacks, and there was a hex hatch on the South Branch, very unusual for this time of year. Bluegill bass, walleye being caught in Houghton Lake, walleye limits in Saginaw Bay. Charity Islands is a hot spot. The walleye have slowed down in Lake Erie. Perch have still been hitting pretty good. Off of South Haven, where we were, they need stable weather. This cold front that moved through kind of dampened things for a moment, but that'll be back if the weather is stable. Make sure you get outdoors fishing because it's a great place to be. See you next week.
The Emmy Award-winning Michigan Outdoors
Did you do that? That's the second time you've done that.